All right, everyone, welcome back once again to this Beefcast production. I'm a casting host, Beef. Joining me once again is Snow. How's it going, Jay?
It's going well.
Yeah. You excited for Game 2 of this series?
I am. I'm excited to see if we'll get Game 3 this time.
Yeah, I'd really like to see a rubber match, but at the same time, I'm excited. DarkShadow might be making his way into the semis once again here. He was our runner-up in Buzz Open #1, so it'd be nice to see a little bit of continuity there. But we will have to see how Game 2 ends up. Game 1 with some serious proxy raxing going on there. An extremely bold move from our Terran player. We'll see if he has the balls to finish that one up. In the top left-hand corner, he's the green Terran. He's DarkShadow.
Scoring off against, in the bottom right, the blue Protoss, Medke.
Yeah, Medke last game, he really didn't have the opportunity to show us off what he had in store with that very early robo. We'll see if he goes for an early tech again, or if he's going to be playing a little bit more defensive in this game. Right now, starting off with the same build. A 12 gateway going down. We'll probably see a gas on 13 here in just a moment. Back at home for DarkShadow. Going to be dropping a barracks at home, so no 2-rack shenanigans unless he's planning on going to 3 racks all in at this point. But with that barracks going down at home, he definitely has the opportunity to go ahead and go into a 1-rack fast expansion, something that he has been shown to do repeatedly.
Well, we did see in his previous game, he did a sort of a very aggressive Game 1, and then with the macro game in Game 2, so maybe he's one of those players that likes to have a little bit of a cushion behind him. Do the first game for a win and then play a little more riskily after that.
Very much so a possibility. Probe going to be making its way into the base of our Terran player over here. And he's going to be able to scout what's going on, seeing that there's in fact no gas and the barracks down. Probe is going to be trapped now, so Marine going to be making its way over to take that probe out pretty soon here. Back at home, same build coming out of Medke. Just working on that 1 gas for the time being. Cybernetics core going to be finishing up here relatively soon. If he does adhere to the exact same build, then he'll be dropping another gas here in about the next 20 to 30 seconds. And even going to be a gas steal coming down here for Medke right now in the main base of DarkShadow. And so I don't know if DarkShadow was going to be planning on taking that gas or not. With double gas,
I think he may have been, because he moved an SCV immediately to build the other refinery, which the probe is also V-lining for.
Well, that's some really heads-up play there, and by Medke, forcing both those Marines to take down that assimilator. Command center going to be dropping on the low ground over here, and working off of just 1 gas right now. DarkShadow is going to have a relatively hard time getting any kind of early tech up. Finally moving 3 SCVs into that single gas, and it looks like an early expansion could be coming out here for our Protoss player, not taking a second gas for the time being, although he is chrono boosting out all of his warp gate right now, so there's also the possibility that he could be dropping 3 more gates here.
And
there it is. He's going to be going for a 4 gate here off of just 1 base right now. That was not what his minerals were banking up for. He was banking up to try to get some pressure in there. Going to go ahead and wonk up the ramp with his Stalker, as the first pylon is already set to be queued right here, showing some beautiful micro with that Stalker, exchanging shields for life on some of those Marines, and working off of only 1 barracks right now, knowing that his opponent could very well be playing greedy. We'll see if the 4 gate here has the opportunity to work. I just don't think with 1 gate, DarkShadow is in a situation where he can defend this very effectively, but with that second bunker already going down and good spacing between the 2 bunkers here, DarkShadow is setting himself up in the best situation for what he's working with in terms of infrastructure. So, if you were a Terran in this position here, Shay, what would you be looking to do? How would you be looking to engage and defend from this 4 gate?
Well, I mean, the 2 bunkers are definitely a great idea. I'd be wanting to get a couple Marauders out, because you've already seen the Stalker. You can assume there's going to be a lot more Stalkers. And if you get the concussive shell with the Marauder, you can really deal with that a lot more effectively than if you're just sitting in your Marines, especially when you really need the bunker range to level up with your Marines. And that makes them stationary.
Certainly. So we did see those 3 additional barracks going to be going down in addition to the tech lab. So right now only 8 Marines are going to be the force for our Protoss player, and a big A move directly past the bunker here. We already see the pylon in position back here, so that he's going to actually just sidestep these bunkers completely, and that's actually kind of a brilliant move. It's not something that I had really been thinking was going to happen at all, as there is the warpins down there from the low ground already. The orbital command being forced to lift off. This is giving DarkShadow the time that he needs to get those 4 racks up and working. Stin even going to be starting to research here, but as these Stalkers do move in on this bunker, being able to segment off just one bunker firing for the time being. A lot of Stalkers putting some pressure here onto the SCVs and onto the Marines. The first bunker does, in fact, already fall, and the Marines out of the second bunker, so these Stalkers are going to completely clean up the natural for the time being, and they're going to start trying to force their way into the main. The first Marauder is already on the field. Both these players with a rather large bank, but there's no production coming out of DarkShadow right now. And the Stalker's already on the high ground with the orbital command trying to make its way out of there as well. SCV's being forced to be pulled as there are no combat units left on the field for our Terran player. SCV's going to be engaging the large group of Stalkers right here as they do hit a nice drill. But there's simply nothing to provide the fire that they need. And as Zealots start to make their way up the ramp right here, I think DarkShadow could be seeing the game just really close on him. The curtain's coming down, and those SCVs starting to try to hold position right there, doing some nice micro against the Zealots. But the Stalkers just focusing away on the Marines in the background right now. If we take a look, there's only 4 SCVs left on the field, down to 2, and the last SCV is the only one mining gas right there right now. And DarkShadow is just waiting right now, trying to compose himself before moving on to the next game. And a beautiful 4-gate can be coming here out of our blue Protoss player.
And GG.
That's right. GG comes out of DarkShadow, and we're going to be going to our first rubber match of the day. How'd you like that 4-gate, Jay?
It was well done. I mean, I think the other thing you see when he moved up the ramp there past the bunkers, there wasn't a lot of production for DarkShadow. He still was only on that one barrack, so he couldn't pump out a few more units and then use that against the Protoss as he's backed himself into a corner. He just didn't have the units to do anything, plus he was stuck stationary in his bunkers.
Yeah, I think that was actually the game-winning move right there. I think if Medke had tried to fight those 2 bunkers at the ramp, I think he might have been repelled by DarkShadow there with good SCV repairs, moving up into the base and actually forcing the liftoff on the orbital command and then being able to re-engage one bunker at a time. I think that won in the game. Brilliant decision-making there by Medke. All right, I've been your casting host, Beef. Joining me is Snow. Join us for game 3 of this round of 8, the quarterfinals match in Buzz Open number 2. We'll see you next game.